Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Manitoba Fishing Adventures. My name is Josh, and if you're new here, click that subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed the video. Last time, we were talking about how to fish for catfish. The open season, the opening day is May 15th this year in the Southern Division for bass, walleye, pike, all the regular species. So I'm really excited for it. I hope you are too. So I'm just kind of doing some videos to pass the time, share some knowledge, maybe give you guys a few laughs because I tend to make fun of myself quite often. So today we're going to be talking about how I fish for walleye, what I kind of look for, some of the gear I use, some baits, reels, rods, just a little bit of everything. Once again, just trying to help you pass the time. One thing, I need you to unsubscribe and then resubscribe and turn on the bell notifications. If you were subscribed before they put in the Child Policy Act on YouTube, it doesn't let you turn on the bell notifications for some reason. I've had quite a few people reach out to me and say, hey, I can't even turn it on, it doesn't let me. So unsubscribe, resubscribe, and turn on the bell notifications. That way you get notified for all future videos because I want to make your day. So without further ado, let's dive in to some rods first off. There are so many different brands. I'm not sponsored by any of these brands by any means. I'm going to show you what I use. You may use something else. You may see other YouTubers use other things. This is just what my personal experience, my personal preferences, and kind of what I have been using over the years and have grown into a collection. So there's first off, two different types of rods, if you don't know. There's a spinning rod and a baitcast rod, right? Spinning rods have reels like these. They sit on the bottom and they have bigger guides. The guides are on the bottom of the rod. And there's baitcasters like these, right? Your reel sits on top and your eyelets are on top, first and foremost. So for walleye, there's a few different types of rods, I guess, too. So there's jigging rods. There's casting rods. There's longer action trolling rods. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of different rods for different specific techniques. You don't have to be specific. You can get one rod that does it all, or you can have 10 rods that do each individual thing. So to start it off, jigging rods are usually shorter in length. So this one is it's a 6'3". It's a Loomis walleye rod, and there's different actions when it comes to rods too. So there's moderate, slow action, fast, extra fast, and all that is showing is the bend and where the bend occurs in the rod. So if I get back up here, when I have an extra fast rod, your tip is going to bend a lot sooner and quicker than if you had a slower action rod. It's going to bend more in the middle and use more of your rod. And there's pros and cons to both. So for jigging, you're just vertical, up and down, up and down, up and down. So you don't necessarily want a slow action rod. So for me and most jigging rods, they're coming a fast or extra fast. So when you set the hook, you're putting all the pressure right on the tip, and it's go boom, boom, and you're gonna set that hook, and then once the fish starts fighting, then you start using your whole rod. So extra fast, fast tips for jigging rods. And then you have like your all-purpose type casting, or you're throwing little cranks, little blades, little power baits, such like that. So here's a 7-foot medium light fast. So it's not quite as bendy near the tip. It uses a little bit more of the rod, but has different attributes for different types of techniques, right? So here's it's a 7-foot Fenwick Elite Tech bait cast. Now, when you're trolling, you don't necessarily want a lot of the rod bend right at the tip, because you want a lot of it bent over in the entire rod. So when the fish bites, well, it's almost like setting the hook for itself. If the rod is already bent, it's a 7-foot rod, so work with me here, like this, right? And the fish bites, well, it's already got tension on it. It's almost going to set the hook in itself, right? You still have to do it a bit, but it's less work for you. The rod is taking most of it. If you have a fast action, there's not much of the rod bent, and it sets the hook, well, there's a chance it could quickly swim forward, release the tension, and it pops off, right? So this is a moderate action when you're trolling spinners, crankbaits, deep diving baits. It works a little bit better. It's nicer for that specific reason. So if I can show you here on the boat, I don't know if you can see this, right? If I bend the rod, it's not bending right at the tip. It's bending more in the middle, right? Which is what you want for a trolling rod. And rods range from like $30 to frickin' $800. By no means do you have to have an expensive rod to catch a lot of fish. Usually with higher end rods you get, you know, a little bit nicer material, so nicer graphite, which makes it lighter, more sensitive, and the biggest thing is you usually get a lifetime warranty. For example, on all these Loomis rods, they're all lifetime warranties, so if I end up breaking it down the road, you know, 4 or 5 years, and it's considered a manufacturer's defect, well, I'm covered. They'll just replace the rod, or for example, I step on it, they have a cool program where I can buy the rod back at half price or whatever. They'll send me a new one. So that's what you get when you spend a little bit more on rods. You get the warranty is basically what it is. But by no means am I saying you need an expensive rod to catch fish, because I've been fishing with lots of friends, even on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, you know, some of the whiteshell lakes, and got my butt kicked from a guy using an ugly stick, right? The rods do not make the fish. It is the fisher person. Yeah. Now for some reels. There are so many different reels in this world of fishing. The dominant ones in our area are like, you know, Quantum, Shimano, Abu Garcia, Daiwa. I like using Shimano. I've had very good luck with them. That's just me. I'm not telling you to use them, but I'm just saying I've had very good luck with them, and I find they make really wicked reels. Where is the Nicey? Nicey right here. This is probably my favorite reel for the price. It's 140 bucks. It's a Shimano Nicey. It is extremely smooth. It's built good. It's got the whole Hagane system in it, so it's basically a cold forged aluminum body that gets pressed out. There's no frame twist. They make very good reels. Now, when you're looking for a reel, sizing is a pretty big factor. So Shimano does it in like 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,500, etc. Quantum and Fluger, they do like 10, 20, 25, 30. The only difference between different sizes is line capacity. So this is a 2,500. If I have this in a 4,000, internally, same thing. The only difference I might change is the gear ratio, but it's got more line capacity. So for example, this is 15-pound Power Pro. I got 130 yards on here. If I go up to a 4,000, I might be able to get like 160, 170 yards. So depending what type of fishing you're doing and how much line you want on, that can determine what size reel you get. Another thing is you want to look at is balance. You don't want like a 6-foot rod with a 4,000 size reel, because it's going to be heavier in the back end, right? At the same time, you don't want a 7-foot rod with like a 500 series, because it's going to be very top heavy. So if you go into your local tackle shop or whatever, ask them, hey, can I try this rod on this reel? Or if you're looking for a reel, bring your rod in. What are they going to say? No? What's the worst thing that can happen, right? At the fishing hole, bring in your stuff. We'll let you try it, no problem. So here, this is 7-foot with the 2,500. It balances very nice, right? That's usually what I go to. So a 6-foot, I'll do like a 1,000. Usually that fits on really well. And then a 7 to 7.5, I'll do like a 2,500, even like a 4,000, depending on the reel and how heavy it is, right? So that's on like probably my favorite, best bang for your buck. I've had the Stratic now. If anyone knows fishing, you know that these Stratics are bulletproof. They are wicked reels. It is very tough to beat a Shimano Stratic. Until this year, when they came out with this Shimano Vanford, which basically took the old CI4, which was known for being very, very light, and they took actually this one with the Hagane system in it and kind of put them together and outproduced a Vanford. These have been a hot commodity, very tough to find in the city. I haven't used it yet. I'm looking forward to using it. It is one wicked reel. It is extremely light. And then you got Baitcast Reels, like so. This is a Shimano Corrado. It is a tried and true baitcast reel. And the thing with baitcasters is they come in a lot of different gear ratios. So you can be really customizable for kind of what you're doing. For example, this is 8.5 to 1. I have this also in 7.0 to 1 and a 6.3 to 1. And the difference is how much line it pulls in per one turn. So, right, top handle here, you do one full turn. This is an 8.5. I think it reels in like 42 inches on that one turn, versus a 7.0 might do like 34 inches, and a 6.3 might do like 28. Those aren't like the legit numbers, but just kind of for reference. So for casting on top water and stuff, when I like really need to pull a bait in really quickly, like a lot of musky guys, you're pulling blades, they want a high gear ratio because you're doing less turning, but it's pulling in more line. Versus trolling and stuff, you don't necessarily need to pull in quite as quick. So you want more torque versus more power, bringing it in fast. So they'll go opt for like a 5.6 to 6.3 gear ratio. So just a little, a little gear ratio talk there. But this is about 200 bucks, 250 bucks. There's tons of reels like the Shimano SLX, I think it's like 120. An entry level is an Abu Garcia, what's it called? Abu Garcia Black Max, that's like an entry level one. There's lots of options. Don't take my word for that this is better than anything else, but I've used it, I've had very good luck with it, and I'm probably gonna stick with Shimano. So that's it for basically reel talk. Let's dive into something else. All right, so walleye fishing in the early season. Now I'm gonna talk right now about Whiteshell and Nopaming Provincial Park lakes, because Lake Winnipeg is its whole own beast. So Whiteshell, I do a lot of bass fishing in Whiteshell, I do a lot of walleye fishing in Whiteshell as well. So early season, water temperature is chillier than normal. A lot of these walleye are not deep, they're actually shallow. I've caught walleye in 4 feet of water on Big Whiteshell, on Jessica Lake, on Star Lake, on Falcon, in like 6 to 4 feet of water. It's crazy because they're shallower. So when I'm going out, I like throwing some paddle tails, stuff like this, right? But what's nice with these is you don't have to get really slow. Like you're casting, you're retrieving, right? You're trying to find where the fish are, so you're able to move quickly. You're not sitting there, popping it really slow and letting it sit, popping it really slow and letting it sit. You're covering more water quicker. Kitex make very, very nice plastics. They have a whole bunch of different colors and sizes. I love using these. The only thing, they're super soft. That's what gives them their great action. They're so soft, but they tend to rip very easy. Some other ones, right? Like this, work really well too, right? And that's for casting and having fun. Let me adjust this, there we go. So yeah, casting, lots of water, you're moving a lot. When you're jigging, you can always use just like a minnow, salted minnow. You can use fake plastics. So I got a lot of plastics here, I'll show you. These Jackal Crosstail shads I've used for years now, and they've done wonders for me. They work very well. Z-Man, their streaks work really well too. This one's like the perch pattern. They have this elastic stretch, whatever. They stretch and they don't break. They're super, super, super durable, but they float, so you have to always use a weight with them, or a jig head. You can't just toss them like nothing. And then they have like the minnows, right? Those work really well too, with a little like red bone back in them. So for example, I've been fishing Falcon pretty religiously the last few years, and early season, I'm usually fishing 6 to 12 feet of water, and I like to troll. I love trolling in early season. You cover lots of water, especially because I've caught walleye anything between like 4 to 6 feet of water, like Big Whiteshell, Jessica Lake, Star Lake, Falcon. Like they're not going to be that deep because the water temperature is chilly, right? So they're not in that 20, 25 foot. They're in the middle of summer when the water temperature is like 65, 70 degrees, right? So I like to troll. Probably my all-time favorite, just because they're cheaper too, is flicker shads, like so. They come in a whole bunch of different colors, like a wide variety of colors and sizes. This is like the 6 centimeter. They come in 7s, 9s. They work really well. Like a couple other colors here. I'll just, jeez, right? All baits like that. So those work well. And the nice thing with a lot of like these cranks and stuff is they have certain depths on them, right? These ones go to 12 feet. These ones go to 25. This one goes to 30, right? So you can be really customizable, but really target where the fish are if you're marking them on your graph on a certain depth. And when I'm trolling cranks, you usually want to troll between like 1.8 to 2.2 miles per hour. If you have a sonar, it'll read you that. If you're trolling spinners with like a minnow or a worm or a crawler harness, usually like 1 mile to like 1.4. You don't want to go too fast for those ones, or else they'll just rip the bait off. But yeah, 10 to 14 feet of water. I'm usually looking at maps. I'm looking at depth change and trying to just stay on the contours basically. And it's so unpredictable where these walleye are. It's not like you can just go to a point and just jig in 25 feet of water and catch fish, because they may not be that deep earlier in the season. So that's why I like trolling, because once again, you cover lots of water, you're always moving. If you find a spot where you hit 2 or 3 fish in a row, hey, try jigging it. They might be in a little hole, they might be in a little pocket or a little bowl underneath that you can't really get to unless you're sitting right on it, right? So it's all about trial and error, and that's what I have found to be my go-to is trolling, especially early season. Now Lake Winnipeg, for example, it is such a big body of water. Unless you know like an area, there's lots of mapping options now for like Angler's Edge for Lawrence, Humminbird, Shark Select, and Lake Master for Humminbird. that actually have Lake Winnipeg detailed in 1 foot contour, so you can actually have and study a better idea of where you're going to be fishing, what the depths are. You can plug in your unit and have it right on your boat. But before that, it was a lot of trolling once again, or finding a deep shelf, finding a drop off where it's like 13, 13, 13, then it drops down to like 16 or 17. Try fishing that. Might be where walleye off that ledge here, right? Walleye just cruising in around waiting for bait fish to skirt down or skirt over top and getting ready to go nom 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 and eat. So yeah, that's kind of my little spiel for some walleye fishing out in Manitoba, in Whiteshell and Nopaming, and then Lake Winnipeg. You got the river towards the mouth, you got west side, Winnipeg beach area, on the east side, Belair. Try trolling, my friends. Until you get on a school or you find something that works for you, it's never a bad idea. Even if you don't know what you want to do or where you want to fish, put a rod in, troll, and think about it with your fishing partner or by yourself, and just have a line in the water. That's really probably my best advice I can give you. So yeah, that's gonna wrap up this video. I hope you learned maybe a thing or two about rods or tackle. You might use something that'll maybe catch a fish for you this upcoming open water, which is once again May 15th. If you're new here, click that subscribe button, enjoy the video, and we'll catch you next episode of Manitoba Fishing Adventures.